The Orioles had a very unusual week. It began last Saturday night. That was when Camden Yards was locked down. Some fans expressed frustration that they could not leave the ballpark until police determined that it was safe. But the Orioles executive vice president and son of owner Peter Angelos defended the protesters and those living in economic devastation.
In a series of 20 tweets, John Angelos wrote on Saturday, "There's a far bigger picture for poor Americans in Baltimore and everywhere who don't have jobs and are losing economic, civil, and legal rights. And this makes inconvenience at a ball game irrelevant." John Angelos joins us now from Baltimore. Good morning.
Good morning, Charlie.
Share with us why you felt compelled to write this at this moment.
Charlie, you know, a tweet that I wrote for what I thought would be very few people ended up being shared by a few million. And I think I wrote it because I believe that the difficulty that people have in certain communities in Baltimore, which I think reflects the difficulty people are having in communities around the country, is a byproduct of some failed policies on a national level that have transferred American jobs to foreign countries, and policies that have reacted to the stress in these communities by seeking people out and putting them in jail in large numbers.
And what do you hope it will accomplish?
Well, at the time, I was really trying to move a specific dialogue towards a wider picture that baseball games and football games are fun things and they're entertainment, but they're not important relative to the grand scheme of things. The grand scheme of things, what's important is how are people living in all of our communities and not just some. If our system is leaving some of our friends and neighbors behind, then our system's really failing all of us.
John, there's been a lot of conversation, excuse me, and a lot of debate over the use of the word thug to describe the people who are rioting. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think that's fair. I think that there are 2.25 million people in the Baltimore metropolitan area. There were a few hundred arrests. I similarly think it's unfair to demonize all of the police officers. Police officers are not from another planet. They are Baltimoreans who live here, just as the residents do. It's unfair to sensationalize things and call all of the protesters unfortunate names, or to call all of the police officers unfortunate names.
John, unemployment in the zip code where those riots broke out is 20%. In one of your tweets in particular, you blamed the American political elite who have shipped middle-class and working-class jobs away from Baltimore. What did you mean by saying that? And I mean, what do you hope that achieves, I guess is the question.
Well, what I meant by that is if one were to take away from the people who've embraced these ideas, or from what I wrote originally in expressing them, that I was targeting that at a specific group, say Republicans or Democrats, that would be the wrong takeaway. I think both groups have embraced policies over the past many decades that have said, well, we're a democracy, but we're comfortable with shipping our Baltimorean jobs, our American jobs, to countries that aren't democracies and that couldn't spell the word election in any language. And they are also have been comfortable with enforcing crime bills and laws that have put a lot of people in jail for what are described as lower level drug crimes. And by warehousing people that don't have jobs and by passing that through to generations, you're getting nowhere.
All right, John Angelos, thank you for joining us here this morning in our Best to Your City.